Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast.
This is a show dedicated to helping you become a better organist.
We're your hosts, Vidas
And Aušra Motūzaitė Pinkevičienė.
We have over 25 years of experience of playing the organ.
And we've been teaching thousands of organists online from 89 countries since 2011.
So now let's jump in and get started with the podcast for today.
We hope you'll enjoy it.
Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 682 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Martin and he writes, Dear Vidas, I really enjoy receiving your emails and watching your YouTube channel. From early childhood, I always admired organ music and organists. In church, I would always go up to watch how the organ was played. I grew up in Bratislava, Slovakia, and listening to the organ in the big Lutheran church was quite an experience. 4 manual, 62 stops. It was always my dream to play it. Alas, my life took a different path and I now live in Canada. Last year, being stuck at home due to the COVID pandemic, I discovered the Hauptwerk virtual pipe organ. I built myself a 3-manual console plus 25 pedals and started to learn. Your YouTube channel and those of other expert organists are of enormous help and inspiration, and I try to follow your tutorial steps as much as possible. One thing I might like your advice on is the following. Since organ playing is my hobby, I can only devote maybe an hour a day to practice, sometimes even less. What would be the best way to use this time? Practice a little bit of everything every day, scales plus compositions, or do scales, mainly pedals, one day and compositions another. Many thanks and best wishes, Martin. That's a nice question, right, Aušra?
Yes, and a very nice letter. Yes, from Martin. And I, listened as you read through his message and thought, lucky man, he escaped from Europe to Canada. Because right now, Canada for me is like a dream country.
Why is that?
Well, because actually of that war in Ukraine. I'm afraid that, soon there won't be half of Europe left.
Europe is very, very small comparing to...
Yes, and now we heard that foreign tourists actually are canceling the summer reservations, where we had to come, for example, to get vacation on our coast.
Yes.
So we are really worried that, we soon might end up as Ukraine.
Yeah, there is a peninsula called Curonian Spit. It's a beautiful resort place with sandy dunes and Baltic Sea on one shore and what is this sea? Not sea, but water called
Kuršių Marios in Lithuanian, but I don't know what
Marios.
be English.
Wait a second. Kuršių Marios. Let me look it up. Kuršių Marios. Marios English. Curonian Lagoon.
Yes, that would
Curonian
be lagoon probably.
yeah. Yeah, lagoon. That's a wonderful place for summer attractions and vacations.
Yes, but now people are canceling their plans to come to Lithuania because we are afraid of that the war will start in the Baltics too. And since this wonderful resort has a border with Kaliningrad, which is basically cramped with the Russian army, Nobody wants to come here anymore.
Yeah, and Canada seems like far, far away, right?
Yes, although if Russians would want, we could attack Canada too from the north, because through Siberia. Well, anyway, so now let's talk about Martin's question, how it would be best for him to practice on a daily basis, since he has only 1 hour a day to spare for organ practice.
But 3 manuals and pedals at home.
That's wonderful.
That's all that is needed. We also have 3 manuals and pedals, more than 25 pedals, 30 pedals. But 25 pedals is quite enough to start with.
Yes, sure.
Mhm.
But in terms of practicing, let's say 1 day only scales, I wouldn't do that if I would be him, unless he loves practicing scales and exercises, which is good. But if he does not, I would spend maybe 10 minutes per day practicing on the skills and other technicalities, and then I would practice the repertoire.
If he likes scales and pedals, exercises on the pedals, he could check out my pedal virtuoso master course. That's a long course, several months, but will teach you everything about pedal technique, and you will develop pedal flexibility. If you like exercises, if you don't, that's something that would be too artificial for you.
Yes, and then about practicing the repertoire, of course, you don't have to play and practice many pieces at one time, because let's say if you will pick up 3 pieces and you will practice them every day, if we are short pieces, then it's okay. But if you are working on a longer pieces, then probably it's best if you would work at 2 pieces at one time, not more. Because if you will just play them through, you will not progress very quickly. Because in order to see the progress and to learn the text easier, you need to repeat what you have just played a few times.
Half an hour for one piece?
Probably, yes.
At least 20 minutes, probably.
Yes.
Or 25 minutes. You will see on yourself what's the average time that you can spend for one piece. But as Osher says, repeating a few times the same fragment would be more beneficial than just sight reading it once. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That would be my suggestion.
1 hour. In 1 hour a day, you can do many things over time. Not in one sitting, but in several months.
Yes. The most important thing is that you would spend the same or approximately the same amount of time every day, that you wouldn't skip your practice. Of course, if you will just take 1 day, for example, Sunday out, it still won't be worse. But if you will just practice every other day, then it won't be good. You won't see progress as good as it could get, if you would practice every day for an hour.
Talking about practice and progress, I find that practicing alone is quite lonely and sometimes boring. People end up quitting a lot of times, don't you think?
Well, not for me. I guess it depends on the character.
Why haven't you quit organ playing, Osha?
Well, why should I quit it? I love it.
You love it.
I love the organ. I love organ repertoire. I feel privileged that I can practice, because I know many people might want to practice, but we can't. So why should I, give up this opportunity and this privilege of practicing? I can still move my legs and my hands, so why don't do that?
I was going for another answer, but sort of around. Would you still be practicing kosher if you hadn't, let's say, planned our future recitals, or let's say if you didn't have a YouTube channel?
Yes, of course I would still practice.
Would
Maybe
you
not as much, but
not as much? External motivation helps, don't you think?
yes, it helps. It pushes you to move forward, but it's not the main thing. The process gives me a pleasure, being in the music, making music.
I see. Maybe Martin is like you too, or like me.
I don't
For
know.
me, external motivation is also important. When people write comments and I share my music and they play my music, then it is a very rewarding experience.
Yes, you like to show off much more than I do, but anyway.
There are, various situations for people, and you can choose whatever you like. Osha is different from me in that she is more introvert than me, right?
Yes.
But she's sharing her music as well, sort of out of necessity, right? Out of necessity from living with an extrovert.
Yes, because you're pushing me to exhibit, so I have no choice.
Am I pushing you too much or not?
Sometimes.
Tell me on for a record.
Well, actually, no, now I'm thinking about death actually much more often than I usually did before all this horrible situation in Ukraine. And actually, now I'm glad that I recorded some things and that I wrote some things because, death might be standing right next to me, next to us. Who knows, how long we will going to live. And it's nice to leave something after.
I agree. And sometimes music changes people, changes people's lives. Right there, Martin writes the first sentence: I really enjoy receiving your emails and watching your YouTube channel. Right? Probably my music in some way touched him. So imagine I wasn't sharing, right?
Yes.
Just practicing or just playing recitals and never recording, right? That would be probably a pity.
And what I liked about Martin's letter that, he got his inspiration, his love, his curiosity for the organ music from his childhood when he lived, back in Bratislava. I think it's so important, for children to get early experience with an organ.
Yes, I hope he can go to some church in Canada as well and look up some nice instruments there too.
Sure.
But now when he has Hauptwerk at his home, then he can play many different sample sets which sound quite similar to real pipe organs. Not the same, but rather similar. And at home to have this kind of setup is very big privilege, I would say.
Yes, I think it helped us, through pandemics and through other hard times,
Okay, guys, please send us more questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.
This podcast is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online.
It has hundreds of courses, coaching, and practice materials for every area of organ playing. Thousands of instructional videos and PDFs. You will not find more value anywhere else online.
Total Organist helps you to master any piece, perfect your technique, develop your sight reading skills, and improvise or compose your own music, and much, much more.
Sign up and begin your training today at organduo.lt and click on Total Organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
If you like our organ music, you can also support us on Patreon and get free CDs.
Find out more at patreon.com/secrets of organ playing.